through all the different muscle groups, or most of the different muscle groups in your body. So if you do have any injuries at all in any parts whatsoever, just make sure you don't do anything at all that you shouldn't be doing that causes you any discomfort or any pain. I'll give you different levels for most of the exercises today. So stick to the level you feel comfortably challenged at. You don't need any equipment, you just need your mat yourself, and if you want to put a block, like a Pilates block, something that sort of thickness, or a folded up towel cushion underneath the back of your head when you're lying on your back, just make sure you've got that handy. Otherwise, I reckon we can get going. So remember, I can't see you, I can only see me. I can't adjust anybody, of course, so remember that you're doing this class at your own risk, so really look after yourselves, but nothing too challenging, hopefully. Setting ourselves up. Now, standing warm up first of all, so standing with our heels underneath the bony parts of your hips or your sit bones. So when you look down, your feet must be facing forwards when you're in this parallel stance, so we've not got any turn at any ankles or the knees or the hips. So then look forwards, make sure you lengthen your neck, lift the top of the head up towards the ceiling. Feel like you're trying to grow another inch or so, and just feel the front of the chest and the shoulders open, just making sure that the bottom of the rib cage feels softened down towards the hips. So when you lift your chest, try not to pull the rib cage up, try not to let it flare. Let's make sure that the shoulder blades are down towards the base of the spine, so just reach your fingertips towards the floor. And your pelvis needs to be in that neutral position, so try not to tuck under like that or tip the tail up, just set it in that neutral position in between, and then make that engagement to the core, so feel your abdominals drawing in, or lift up your pelvic floor. Either or is equal, just making sure you've got that support around your middle. Let's just start off by just doing some very gentle shoulder rolls. So just breathing in, bring your shoulders forwards and up by your ears, and as you breathe out, take your shoulders back and down. So just that little bit of gentle rotation around your shoulders, breathing in through your nose and breathing out through your mouth. So try and breathe laterally. So we breathe wide and deep there into the sides and the back of the rib cage. And now breathe in, float your arms up towards the ceiling and circle them wide to the sides and down. Nicely deep in breath, breathing in through your nose and breathing out through your mouth. You stay with that if you want to, otherwise we're going to lift the heels off the floor as we reach the arms up towards the ceiling, and the heels come down as we circle our arms down by our sides. One more like that, lift, lengthen the top of the head is reaching to the ceiling, as are your fingertips. Heels off the floor, arms circle round, wide and down as your heels come down. Now breathe in. As you breathe out, we're going to sit back in a squat. Reach your arms forward, bend your knees, hinge from the hips. Keep your spine really long. Lighten your toes. Press into heels, squeeze your glutes as you stand up nice and tall. Then let's lift the arms, lift the heels, coming into that standing balance again. Big circle the arms wide to the side and down, lower your heels. Now breathe in. As you breathe out, just drop your chin towards your chest and slowly round your spine, and one vertebra at a time. We're coming slowly down. Bend the knees if you need, your hands on your thighs. Otherwise, just let your arms hang like ragdoll arms, only coming as deep down towards the floor as you feel you can. Breathe in as you breathe out. Pull your navel in towards your spine. Drop your sit bones down towards your heels and restack your spine and stand really nice and tall at the top. Let's do 2 squats this time. Sit back and down. Heavy in your heels. Squeeze your glutes. Lighten your toes as you come out of that squat and go again. So that imaginary low sofa behind you. You aim your bottom towards that sofa, but we don't sit down. We stand really tall. Let's do 2 balances now. Lift the arms, lift the heels. If you can, just keep your heels up as you circle your arms wide to the side and down, and then lower your heels. Just challenging our balance a little bit more. Circle your arms wide to the side. Let's do our roll down again, that forward flexion. So chin falls towards the chest. We round the shoulders, the upper back, the mid back, slowly articulating our spine as we come down towards the floor. Maybe you feel you can go a little bit deeper this time. Don't worry if you can't. Breathe in as you breathe out. Let's slowly rebuild our spines. Come standing nice and tall at the top. Only when your shoulders arrive over your hips do we then look forwards. Let's do 3 squats. Sit back and down. You don't need to go too deep. You can go a little bit deeper this time. Push into your heels, squeeze your glutes. Let's do another one. Really working our legs, our glutes, getting that flexion in our hips, keeping the spine long. Last time like that, nice deep squat or just a little baby squat. And then push into heels. Should we balance? Lift 3 times. Arms up, keeping the heels up. The arms go wide and they come down. Then we lower our heels. Nice smooth flowing movement. So she really won't be there. Let's roll bring our arms down, heels down. One more last time. Breathe in, lift up, reach up, and then arms wide, arms down, heels down. One more last time. Let's roll down through the spine in that forward flexion. Don't rush, go slowly, just taking your time, only going as deep as you can. Breathe in as you breathe out, coming back up. And restack your shoulders over your hips and look forwards when you've lengthened your spine. Let's just bend the knees, just a little bend in the knees, keeping the knees and feet hip distance. Take your arms to the side and turn your palms to face the ceiling. Imagine you've got cups of tea just sitting on the palms of your hands here. Breathe in as you breathe out without twisting your hips or your knees. Just twist from the waist, your upper body's going to rotate as one unit. Round to the left, keep your arms completely still. Breathing in, just rotate back through center. Breathing out, go the other way. Don't spill those cups of tea. Really nice and smooth movements, just from side to side, that twist in the spine. Keep your spine really long, top of the head reaches up towards the ceiling. You can straighten your legs if you want to. We're just working our legs a little bit here as we do our spine twist. Let's just do one more each way. Trying to keep the distance between your hands completely the same as we just smoothly rotate from side to side. And then come back through center. Keep your knees bent. Let your arms fall down towards your sides. Breathe in as you breathe out. Reach your left fingertips down towards the floor and take your right arm up and over. Keep that bend in the knees. Let's switch over. Drop your right fingertips towards the floor. Your left arm goes up and overhead. So now we're just trying to get that C curve in your spine. So think side bend. Stretching out those muscles down the side of your waist. Nice big stretch. Now keep your right arm where it is. Bring your left arm all the way down by your sides. Push into your feet. Stand really nice and tall. Breathe in. Just float your arms up towards the ceiling. Look up. Watch your backs here. As you breathe out, squeeze your glutes and take a very, very little baby back bend, but try and open your arms a little bit wider overhead as you're looking up towards the ceiling. And then from there, bring your arms in towards each other, drop your shoulder blades down into your back pockets, and slowly bring your arms all the way down by your sides. Just release off, roll your shoulders, shake your legs a little bit there if you need to. So we move the spine forwards, backwards, sideways, and twisted it as well. So taking our spine into all different planes of movement, as long as that suited you. So now we're ready, hopefully, to go down onto the mat to do our mat exercises. So let us set ourselves up with your heels underneath your hips again. So if you walk to the end of your mat, reset your posture. Really nice standing posture here. Soften your knees a little bit. I'm just going to roll down again. We're going to walk out onto the mat. So breathe in to prepare. As you breathe out, off we go. So just like we did before, but bend the knees if you need to. Bend the knees a lot if you need to when you get towards the mat, because we're not coming up again. So we're going to put the hands on the mat. We're going to walk out. About 3 hand places forward should bring you to the right position, so you can just drop your knees onto the floor. Your knees should be underneath your hips, so readjust if you need to. So think tabletop here. Nice and square in your tabletop position, but always remember that we have natural curves in our back, so we try and maintain those just while we're setting up, and our abdomens are pulling away from the mat, shoulder blades back and down. So this is your neutral tabletop position. Make sure your tailbone isn't tipping up or tucked under, just like when I said when we were standing. Exactly the same applies. We are going to start to flex the spine, however, now. So if anybody's got wrist issues here, just drop down onto your forearms. That will take a lot of pressure off your shoulders and the load off your wrists. If you can, however, hands under your shoulders. If you're on your forearms like this, you'll only be able to work your legs. Otherwise, we can work the opposite arm and the opposite leg. So breathe in. As you breathe out, we're going to slide the left leg along the floor and the right hand. Then we're going to lift the arm and the leg up. The arm's in line with your shoulder and the leg is in line with your hip. Legs only if you feel really wobbly, put both of your hands down. Now, on your next exhale, we're going to bend the knee, bend the elbow, we're going to round the spine, curling up into a cat stretch, and we're going to bring the nose, the hand towards the knee underneath you. And then as you breathe in, we're going to slide the arm and the leg away, again reaching through your fingertips and your toes, back in that neutral spine position. Can we go again? Tuck the chin, tuck the tail, round the spine. Try as best as you can not to lean over to the left-hand side. You're scooping your navel in towards your spine. We're taking a nice big in-breath as we stretch the arm and the leg away. We're just going to do that 2 more times. Tuck in under. Make yourself really tiny here if you can. And make yourself really long as you extend the arm and the leg away. One more last time. Remember, rest if you become fatigued in anything we do today. Just finishing off with that arm and that leg extension. So we're in a pointer here. Can you just hold that pose? Try and feel really balanced across your shoulders, across your hips. Don't hold your breath. Then gently put your right hand underneath your shoulder and your left knee underneath your hip. Let's do the other side. Breathe in. As you breathe out, slide your left hand and your right foot along the floor. Then when you find that length, then you lift them up. Reach for your fingertips and your toes. Make sure your neck's in line with your spine. Don't look at your knees and don't look at the wall in front of you. On your next exhale, off we go. Remember, knees only. Put both of your hands down if you need to. Tuck your chin, tuck your tail. Rounding the spine, coming nice and small into your cat stretch. Breathing in, glide the arm and the leg away, lengthen away. Exhaling, scooping in, curling up. It's just like we're doing a cat stretch. We're on one knee and one hand, so much more challenging to find that stability. And let's do that again. So really good work for mobilizing the spine, for strengthening your core. Just focusing on your breathing all the time. So breathing into your upper body. And let's just do one more last one. So hopefully we've done the same amount of repetitions each side. Finishing with the arm and the leg extending away. Reaching again through your fingertips and your toes. Keep your balance across your shoulders, across your hips. Don't hold your breath. Hold your pose. Well done. Hand on your shoulder, knee under your hip. If you've been on your hands, you might want to just come into a kneeling position there. Just take a shoulder roll or two, just to release off around your shoulders and just circle your wrists. A few circles one way and then the other way. Now, we're going to work the back of the body now. So coming all the way down on your front. So come down safely. Just walk your hands to the top end of the mat. Bend your elbows, come onto your forearms, walk your knees back, and then gently sink your hips and then your chest down onto the floor. We're going to stack the hands, rest your forehead lightly on the backs of your hands. Try and have your arms in a diamond sort of shape, so your elbows are lower than your hands. You've got a diamond shape in between your arms here. So your forehead is going to be resting very lightly on the backs of your hands there. And we're going to really lengthen the legs away. So your legs are hip distance apart, heels in line with your sit bones, just as they are when we're standing. Just making sure that you're really pulling in here. So just imagine you've got those drawing pins just underneath your belly button. So you really need to keep pulling in. So you don't push your abdominal wall down into the mat, keep scooping in. Make sure your lower back, your very lower part of your back, make sure it feels open. We should never feel pinching there. So you really need to just push your pelvic bone, your pubic bone gently down into the mat to keep the lower back open. Shoulder blades back and down. Your nose is pointing down towards the floor, so keeping the neck nice and long. So from here, I'm going to give you different levels here. So first of all, breathe in. As you breathe out, just float your head and your chest away from the floor. We don't need to come up too high. Just feel that extension, that length in your upper spine. And breathing in very slowly, lower back down again. Let your forehead rest really lightly on the hands. And then exhale, come again. So your arms are really hardly on the mat. They're just resting really lightly as if they're just sitting on top of water. So use your back muscles to lift and lengthen and to lower back down again. So you might just want to stay with this. This in itself is really good for back strength and for mobility for the upper spine. Really good for your upper back, your postural muscles in your upper back. So if you just want to stay here, that is absolutely fine. We're going to start to come up higher, only if you feel you can. So let's go, we're going to reverse the breathing now. So breathing in, we're just going to gently press into the hands now. Squeeze your glutes, pull the tummy in and start to peel the front of the body away from the floor. So your forearms are going to come away from the floor. Don't extend your arms fully. We don't want to come up too high. Keep a little soft bend in the elbows when you're coming up in that extension. And then as you exhale, really feel like you're trying to stretch your spine as you slowly lower your upper body and your forearms back down on the mat. Keep your shoulder blades back and down. So it's up to you. You don't need to come up this high if it's not for you. Otherwise, just peeling the front of the body away from it. Keep your hips down. Keep that little bit of soft bend in your elbows. Look forwards, chest and eye gaze forward. And then try and really open the front of the shoulders and your chest as you come down. Keep your back open, that lower back. And remember, just keep almost like you're trying to tuck your tailbone under to keep it open. Let's just try and do that 2 more times. Feel your shoulder blades slide down towards your hips as you come up. Not up toward, don't let your shoulders come up towards your ears. Working with your breathing. One more last time. So we're exhaling, we're coming up. No, we're not, we're inhaling even, just to confuse you. We're inhaling, we switch the breathing when we come up high, strumming your glutes and your core. And then slowly, slowly, slowly come all the way down. From there, let's just release off the spine. Let's flex the spine now. So pop your hands underneath your shoulders. Push yourselves up onto your hands and knees. Walk your knees in a little bit so you're back in your tabletop position. So we're just going to cat stretch now. So we did a cat stretch on one knee and one hand. We're just going to release off the spine, flex the spine, both hands, both knees on the floor. Breathe in. As you breathe out, just one really nice big cat stretch. Tuck your tail, tuck your chin. Arch your back, maybe just pressing into your hands a little bit here, but just keep the elbows soft. So really feel that lovely stretch across your mid and your upper back. Then from there, we're just going to glide the spine back into its neutral position. From here, we're going to walk towards the top end of the mat or the bottom end of the mat to come to seated. So now we've got the length of the mat behind us. So we've got room to lie down. We're not going to lie down just yet. We're just going to get a little bit, again, some flexion in the spine and really work our core muscles here. So just a gentle movement to start off with. So make sure you're on your sit bones, your shoulders are over your hips. You're sitting really nice and tall. And then just bring your arms forward. So they're shoulder distance apart as shoulder height. Breathe in as you breathe out. Just find that C curve in your spine. So just rounding your spine, tuck your tailbone under, just roll off your pelvis, off your sit bones. Just go, you don't need to go too far back, just onto the hips here. Breathe in as you breathe out. Use your abdominals. Keep the C curve in your spine. Reach your arms forward and slowly bring your chest towards your thighs. So we've kept the shape of the spine the same here today. Breathe in as you breathe out, keep your shoulders wide across your back, tuck the tail under, just rolling off your sit bones, just maybe go a little bit further, maybe just onto the very lower part of your back if that suits you. Breathe in as you breathe out, so it's the core muscles, the abdominals we're using, pull them in, and then slowly coming forward. So just bring the chest towards the thighs. And let's do that one more last time, going backwards and forwards. Remember, keep your shoulders away from your ears. So really nice core strength exercise, nice for the mobility of the spine again. And bring your chest forwards towards your thighs. Maybe you can come a little bit further forwards. And then now we're going to roll all the way down to stay down. So anybody needs to pop your hands on the floor for support, or just roll over onto your side and then lie down. Otherwise, slowly, slowly, slowly imprint your spine all the way down, and then let your head and your shoulders rest on the floor. Let your arms rest on the mat down by your sides. You more than likely will need to slide your feet in a little bit here, and this is where you might, some of you might want to put a head support underneath the back of your head, but you don't need, I don't use one because I don't feel that my back of my neck is shortening when I've got my head on the floor, but you will know if your head's like this, if you can't alter the position of your head, so your back of your neck shortened, just put a block or a folded up towel cushion underneath your head, and that will really support your neck there. Make sure your heels and your knees are still in alignment with your hips, hip bones or your sit bones. Find that neutral position for your pelvis again. So making sure that we're not tucking under or tipping up. So let's all just try and flatten your lower back right onto the mat, just the lower part of that. Press it down. Now arch it away. And then just find that position in between. So the very lower part of your back should feel lengthened on the mat. So that should be that neutral position for your pelvis, making sure that your abdominals are really drawn in now, so strong connection to your core. So just have your shoulders wide across your back, so you're in your neutral line position, arms light on the mat down by your sides. From there, working with our breath, so take an in-breath to prepare. As you breathe out, just let your left knee drop wide to the side towards the floor, just until you come onto the outside of your left foot without disturbing your pelvis at all. And then breathing in, let's pull the knee back in until it's pointing up towards the ceiling again. Now on your next exhale, we're just going to slide the left heel along the mat in a straight line, heels in line with your sit bones, so you're reaching your toes towards the bottom end of the mat now. And then we're going to slide the heel back in until your feet are back in alignment. Right knee, exhaling, drop it wide to the side. Don't let your left hip move or lift off the floor. So it's just going to about a 45-degree angle, just opening up the hip. Breathing in, pull the knee back in. Exhaling, slide your right heel along the floor, just reaching through your toes. You don't need to extend the leg fully if that means your back arches. And then slide the foot back in again. Let's add in some arm movements now. So let's reach your arms up towards the ceiling, palms facing inwards, arms shoulder distance apart. Breathe in. As you breathe out, do your left knee drop. Let your left knee drop wide to the side and take both of the arms wide to the side. Just hover them just away from the floor. Breathing in, pull the knee back up to face the ceiling. Bring your arms back over your shoulders. Now as you exhale, slide your left heel in a straight line down towards the bottom end of the mat and take your arms towards the mat behind you, keeping them shoulder distance apart. Breathe in, slide the foot back in, bring the arms back over your shoulders, align your feet. Right knee drops wide to the side, come on to the outside of your right foot as your arms pull wide to the side. Just don't let them go all the way down, resist the floor. Pull the knee back in, arms reach towards the ceiling, and then your right heel slides along the floor as both of your arms go back, reach for your toes. Slide the leg back in, arms over your shoulders. One more last time each side. Let's speed it up just a little bit. Left knee drops wide to the side, arms open. Left knee pulls in, arms to ceiling. Left heel slides along the floor as your arms go back, reaching through your toes and your fingertips. Slide the heel back in, arms back over your shoulders. Right knee drops wide to the side. Open your hip, open your arms wide to the side. Pull the arms in. Knee to ceiling. Right heel slides along the floor as your arms go back, reaching through your fingertips and your toes, and then arms to ceiling, and bring your knee in. From there, keep your legs where they are, keep everything else exactly where it is, but put the arms on the mat down by your sides. So, a little bit different now, still in that neutral line position. As you breathe in, lift your left foot off the floor, bring your left leg to a tabletop position, now knee over hip, and then as you exhale, stretch your left leg away to about a 45-degree angle, reaching through your toes, and bring the knee back in, and then put the foot back down on the floor. Breathe in as your right foot lifts off the floor, knee over your hip, and exhale, you stretch the leg away, reaching through your toes. Bring the knee back in over your hip and put your foot back down on the floor. One more like that each side. Left leg tabletop, left leg stretches away. So more or less your knee should be about level when you extend the left leg away. Bring the knee over your hip, foot goes back down on the floor last time. Right leg tabletop and stretch it away. Bend the knee back in over your hip and your foot goes back down on the floor. You can stay with that if you want to. That's your basic level of our scissors. Otherwise, let's lift the feet off the floor one at a time without allowing the lower back to arch off the floor. We will be adding in the arms. So now just turn your palms into face your hips, thumbs to ceiling, reaching the fingertips towards the bottom end of the mat. Breathe in, just keep your arms still as they are for a moment. As you breathe out, stretch your left leg away. And breathe in, bring the knee back over your hip, and exhale, stretch your right leg away. Let's add in the opposite arm. Right arm goes back as your left leg stretches away. Arm comes back down by your side as the knee comes back in over your hip. And then the left arm reaches back as your right leg stretches away. So if you've got 2 feet on the floor, if you're doing your level 1, you can still add in an arm scissor if you want to. So we're just getting a little bit of work through the shoulder joint, going nice and slowly today. Opposite arm, opposite leg. Really feel it reaching through your fingertips and your toes. But when you take your arm back, try not to pull your shoulder up towards your ear. So keep your shoulder blade down as you take the arm back. Keep the lower back lengthened on the floor all the time. So quite challenging now. If you're fatiguing, just take a rest. And keep going. Can we do one more each side? Stretching away. And last time. So we've done the right leg and the left arm to finish off. Hopefully we've done the same amount each side. From there, give your knees a really big hug. Maybe even lift your tailbone off the floor as long as that doesn't overstretch. So you can really open up your lower back. Then pop your tail back down so you can just take a gentle rock from side to side. So put both of your feet on the floor. I'm going to next teach the double leg stretch. So some of you, if you're more advanced in Pilates, will come through the whole levels all the way to the top level with me. Otherwise, you just stay at level 1, 2, 3 or 4. So just come up with me through the levels as far as you feel you can. So again, that same neutral position to start off with. So make sure you're in alignment there. Put your arms on the mat down by your sides. Have your palms facing your hips again, thumbs to ceiling. Shoulders away from your ears. Strong in your abdominals now. So focus on working with your breath and your core strength. So we're going to breathe in this time as both of the arms go back towards the floor behind you. As you breathe out, turn your palms outwards and press away. A big sweeping circle of the arms wide to the sides and bring your hands back in line with your hips. And go again, breathing in. Nice big deep breath and breathing out. Resist the air as if you're in a swimming pool and you've got that force of the water to pull your arms through. 2 more like that, keeping everything else completely still. So just feel that your chest, your shoulders and your arms are quite active here. And you might just want to stay with this. So this is your level 1, arms only of your double leg stretch. Your next option, next time your arms are by your sides, which it should be now, 1 at a time, lift your feet off the floor. Bring your legs to tabletop, knees are sitting over your hips, your heels are in line with your knees. Then keep your legs still for now. As you breathe in, let's do some more arm circles. Exhaling, circle your arms wide to the side and in. Inhale this, sweep back. So feel the work in your lower abdominals, just keeping our knees sitting over our hips, our heels in line with our knees. That is challenging. That is working your core. So you can stay with this if you want to. Breathing in and circle your arms wide to the side as you breathe out. Let's add in a single leg stretch. So as you breathe in, stretch your left leg away to about a 45-degree angle. Your arms go back and then bring the knee back in as you circle your arms wide and in. And then the right leg, so 1 leg, 2 arms this time. Really big sweeping circle. Again, reach for your toes. Take the leg a little bit lower to the floor. If you feel stronger, take the leg higher up towards the ceiling. If you feel that it's compromising your back.
Let's just do one of those each side, stretching away and coming back in and finishing with the right leg. Let's make that a double leg stretch if you can. So stretch both of your legs away as both of your arms go back. Bring your knees in. You can bring them a little bit closer towards your chest as your arms circle wide to the sides and in. And inhale, stretching away. And exhale, nice smooth flowing movements here. Let's do 2 more like that. Go back to singles or put your feet on the floor if you need to. And last time, stretch away and circling. Last of all, we're going to add in a chest curl. So keep your head and shoulders down. Inhale, your arms and legs stretch away. As you breathe out, we're going to circle the arms around, bring the knees, and then just peel your head and shoulders off the floor. Look in between your thighs. And inhaling, arms and legs stretch away. And exhaling, arms circle wide to the side, knees come in, head and shoulders lift off the floor, arms reach forward. Just do 2 more like that. I'm doing these for quite a while now. Curling up. And stretch away, head and shoulders down. 1 more last time, if you can. Scooping it in here, navel to spine. Stretch your arms and legs away out 1 last time. And then keep your head and shoulders down. Bring your knees in towards your chest, hands on top of your knees. Give your knees a hug. Take a really nice rock there from side to side. Just for that lovely release there in your lower back. From there, 1 at a time, let's put our feet back down on the floor. Let's go into a shoulder bridge now. So taking more of an emphasis onto the opening up the hip flexors and working the glutes a little bit more now. So if you put your head on a block or anything, just take that away because you need to have the back of your head on the mat for your shoulder bridge. So again, just making sure you can even just lift your head off the floor. Use your hands just to tip your chin in very slightly to find that length in your neck and step your head back down again. Then exactly the same neutral posture for your back, for your torso. The only difference is we walk the heels in close towards the sit bone, so they're about a hand distance away. As long as you're not finding any pinching behind your knees there. Arms, just let your arms rest slightly on the mat down by your side, shoulders away from the ears. Still focus on that neutral pelvis, get engagement in your core before we start. And then when you're ready, breathe in. As you breathe out, tuck your tail, flatten your lower back into that, squeeze your glutes, and very slowly peel your spine away from that, lifting your hips slowly up towards the ceiling. Try not to allow your rib cage to pop up here. Breathe in. As you breathe out, let's slowly come down. So 1 vertebrae at a time, you're just melting back down onto the mat. So reverse on the way down to that which we did on the way up. And let's go again, breathe in as you breathe out. So keep the knees in alignment and keep the pelvis balanced all the time. If you feel you're leaning over to one side or the other, or your legs are maybe wandering wide or knees drawing in, just gently push into your feet and push your knees forward. And that should really help both with your stability and that balance across both of the sides of the body. Next time you come up, just an option, you might just want to float your arms up towards the ceiling at the same time as you peel your spine away, and you might want to take your arms all the way to the floor behind you, or maybe just halfway towards the floor behind you. Then as you breathe in, as you breathe out, we're slowly coming back down. Pull your arms up towards the ceiling and pull them back down by your sides as you release your spine back down onto the mat. And go again, breathe in to prepare. As you breathe out, keep your arms on the floor. If you don't want to take them up and back, squeeze your glutes, strong in your glutes and your core. Exhaling, coming back down as you bring your arms back down by your sides. Keep your arms where they are if you want to. Let's just lift the heels off the floor. That's your last option. As you come up into your bridge with your arms going up and over or not, you can just peel your heels away from the floor. You might find you can lift a little bit higher. Push your heels down into the mat as you come down out of your bridge. I'm losing my going out of the door in a minute here. And then let's come up 1 more last time. Heels up, arms up and over, or just 1 normal bridge with your arms down by your sides. Maybe you can lift your hips a little bit higher with the heels off the floor. Drive them back down into the floor. Feel it in the back of your legs as you slowly come down out of your bridge. And from there, again, feet off the floor, knees into chest, give them a hug. Maybe just pull in and release a couple of times, just stretching out your lower back. Be careful. Put your feet back down on the floor. A little bit more leg work now. Leg and hip work, so you can pop your head back on your head support if you need one. Find that same neutral position for your torso, your pelvis, that alignment of your legs. And if this time again your heels aren't here towards your sit bones, they're a little bit further away in that normal position that we found earlier. So from there, we are going to make sure we're engaged in our core. We're going to start with the right leg. Lift the right leg to a tabletop position and then extend the right leg long over your hip, toes to the ceiling. Bend the knee a little bit if you need to. Some of you, if you tighten your hamstrings or your hip flexors, you might need to bend your knee, or you might only get your leg this far up towards the ceiling. You might not get it directly over your hip. If you can, your leg is perpendicular to the floor here. So all we're going to do is we're just going to flex the foot and point the toe. Flex and point. Let's stretch your leg there. Do that one more time. Flex the foot and point the toe. Now flex your foot, breathe in. As you breathe out, we're going to lower that right leg slowly down towards the floor without any arching of your lower back. Only take the lower leg as low to the floor as you feel you can safely. Then point your toe, and we're going to sweep the leg back up again. Flex the foot, lower it down, point the toe, sweep it back up. One more last time like that, just 3. Make sure you're articulating your foot, so you're flexing and pointing. Keep the toes pointing up towards the ceiling. We're going into one leg circle. If you need to, bend your knee and do knee circles. Otherwise, keep the leg long and breathe in as you do that. We're going to draw 5 circles on the ceiling with the toes of that right foot without anything else moving. So remember you're breathing into your upper body, into the sides and the back of your rib cage. You're just going to do 5 one way, round and round. Keep your pelvis completely still. When you've done 5 one way, breathe in. As you breathe out, take the circles around the other way. Try not to press into your left foot and keep your left knee pointing up towards the ceiling all the time. See, everything else should be completely still. You're using your core to stabilize. How many more? One more last one to do. And then bend your right knee if it was extended. Hug your right knee in towards your chest now. And circle around for a few circles one way and then a few circles the other way. Put your foot back down on the floor next to your left foot. Make sure your legs are parallel. Again, your feet are in alignment. Turn for your left leg now. So left leg over your hip, tabletop, and extend the leg straight up towards the ceiling. Or bend your knee a little bit, or just a little bit further away if it needs to be, that's fine. Otherwise, straight up over your hip. Then we're just going to flex the foot, like you're trying to curl your toes in towards your shin. Point your toe, flex, and point, and flex, and point. Now flex your foot, breathe in. As you breathe out, your heel is going slowly down towards the floor. Remember, it doesn't need to go all the way down. And then when you've got the leg as low as you can without any movement in your back, then point your toes, sweep the leg back up, and flex and lower, and point and lift. And one more last time, flex the foot, and point the toes, toes to ceiling. So if you want one circle, remember your option, bend the knee if you want to draw circles on the ceiling with your knee. Otherwise, ready to go with the leg long, breathe in as you breathe out. Let's start to circle. That's 1 and 2. Don't hold your breath. So try and make a circle and exhale and an inhale. 4 and 5. They don't need to be big. They might need to be tiny to keep that stability. And let's take the circles around the other way. So if your hips start rocking from side to side, make your circle smaller. 2 more. And last time, toes to ceiling or knee to ceiling. Then bend the knee, hug your left knee in towards your chest. Give it a really big hug. And then just take a circle of the ankle round and round. A few circles one way and then a few circles the other way. So from there, we've got a little bit of time just to do a little bit of side work. So always try and get through a nice routine where we're doing most of our muscle groups. So
We're going to lie down and we're going to extend the legs away. So you're lying all the way down on one side. Just make sure you can see your feet when you look down. That's quite important. If your legs are behind the midline of the body, you're going to be completely destabilised, and also you're going to get pinching in your lower back. So just having the feet very slightly forward just enables us to stabilise a little bit more to make sure your back stays safe. So I'm going to give you an option. I'm going to work the top leg with the leg long, but if you feel really wobbly, you can always bend the bottom leg underneath you, and having that leg bent will give you a lot more stability. Otherwise, we're going to have both of the legs long. So from here, just make sure we're in a nice alignment. So we're really lengthened in our spine and our legs. Always trying to find that little bit of fresh air underneath your sideways. You should have a little bit of space there, making sure that our hips are stacked and our spine is lengthened. Shoulders away from your ear, your neck is in line with your spine. Hand on your hip, hand on the floor, even just fingertips on the floor if you feel wobbly, or if you prefer, just lengthen your top arm and rest it on your top hip. Otherwise, wherever you feel that you can make sure you've got your shoulders stabilised. We're going to lift the top leg away from the bottom leg, so they're hip distance. I'm going to flex and point again when we're moving the leg. So just flex your top foot, toes pointing forwards. Breathe in. As you breathe out, we're going to glide the leg forwards, keeping it at hip height. Then we're going to point the toes, bring the leg back just until they're level, the top leg's level with your bottom leg. Keep the toes pointed. We're going to sweep the leg up towards the ceiling, and flexing your foot, you're going to lower back down again. Flex forward, point slightly back in, point, lift it up, and flex and lower. So the leg isn't going behind the midline of the body, it's going forwards and in, and then straight up and down. And go again, forwards, back, up, and down. Keep going, rest if you need to. So really nice work for our legs here, our thighs, in and outer thighs, hips and glutes, and our core as well. And last time, forwards, point in, point up, and sweep the leg down. And then bend your knee. Just bring the knee forward, rest it on the mat in front of your bottom leg. You can bend the bottom leg if you need to, just allowing those muscle groups in your hips and your glutes just to really switch off there. So let's come up onto the other side. Time marches on. Lying all the way down on your other side. You might, if you went, you were at home, but at home you might just be able to roll over onto your other side just to make things much easier. Otherwise, wherever you are, just find your other side. Again, look down, make sure you can see your feet when you look down. Then look forwards, lengthen your legs, lengthen your spine. Shoulder away from ear, find your little mouse hole underneath your sideways. Everything's stacked with balance, both sides of the body. Tummy's pulled in, engage your core, use those muscles to stabilise or lift up your pelvic floor. Bend your bottom knee if you want a little bit more stability, keep the bottom leg long if you feel you're a little bit stronger. Then we're going to lift the top leg just to hip height, hand on your hip, hand on the floor, hand on your thigh. And when we're ready, flex your top foot. Breathe in as you breathe out, glide the top leg forward at hip height, then point the toes, sweep the leg back in until it's in line with your bottom leg, toes pointed up towards the ceiling, flex the foot and lower the leg back down, and forwards and back in and up and down. Flex, point, point, flex. Keep going with that. Good. So it doesn't, again, it does not need to be a big range of movement. You might find you need to keep the movements really small, but always remember, the more practice you have with Pilates, the more lengthened we're going to be in our muscles, the stronger we're going to become. So you should find over time your flexibility, your mobility, your strength, and your range of motion all improve if you practice regularly. Let's do 2 more. Although some of us will always have little sticky bits, remember. And then lower your leg back down. And then from there, just bend your top knee, excuse me, rest your top knee on the mat in front. Bend the bottom leg if you want, just feeling that release in your hips and in your glutes. So let's just come up onto our hands and knees, just coming into a tabletop position, just to finish off
Just do a few little stretches, a bit of mobility in the spine, nice and square, tabletop. Breathe in as you breathe out. Let's tuck the tail, let's arch the back, coming into your cat stretch. So we did one of these earlier. Breathe in as you breathe out. This time, let's go into our extension. So tip your sit bones up towards the ceiling, dip your spine, and lift your chest and look forward. So now we're extending the spine. Let's go again, flex your spine, tuck your tail, navel to spine, chin to chest, chin towards the chest. Keep the neck in line with the spine. And then go the other way, extending your spine in your cow pose. Let's just do one more. Keep your arms and your legs still. It's just your spine that's moving. Finishing that in that extended cow pose. And then leg back into tabletop, tuck your toes under, walk your hands to your knees, lift your knees off the floor, walk your hands to your toes, chest towards your thighs, just hanging here, just fold it over. Strong in your abdominals, watch your backs, big bend in the knees if you need to. Gently shake your head, gently nod your head, relax your neck, your arms, your shoulders and your chest, strong in your abdominals. Let's take a big in-breath as you breathe out, let's slowly come up. So drop your sit bones towards your heels and restack your spine. Then look forwards, breathe in. As you breathe out, shall we go down again? See how much more length you've got in your legs and your spine. Coming down, a big bend in the knees, however, if you need to. And put your hands on your thighs if you want support. Breathe in as you breathe out. Let's slowly come back up again. So we should be at least an inch taller now. And I've just moved. You don't need to move. Just roll your shoulders there. Let's just finish up with a nice little ragdoll. Only going as deep into your ragdoll as your spine allows. Bend the knees. Drop your shoulder blades down into your back pockets. Arms overhead. Breathe in as you breathe out. We're just going to fold over, sweep the arms down towards the floor. Push into your feet. Stand nice and tall. Arms to ceiling. And sweep down and sweep up. So ragdoll arms. Your arms just falling down towards the leg, reaching up towards the ceiling. Two more. Push into your feet, stand nice and tall. One more last time, sweep down, sweep up, and then a big circle of the arms wide to the side. Bring your arms all the way down by your hips. And just take a little shoulder roll there, just to release off, and just maybe give your legs a little bit of a shake. And well done. Thank you so much. You can go and enjoy.